Everyone, welcome back to Sports Kabri, Arun Foot and Curious Harry. Yeah, there's a bit of a nice little break in the middle, and we're here to take your questions and sort of make this as interactive as possible. We get that one day off in a week where we can sit and do this, and we're here to sort of talk about Indian football and take your questions, answer them, and hopefully, yeah, it's a useful session for everyone here. Um, but yeah, Hiren, Tuesday without a nice little game, how is it going for you?
Definitely, it's a much needed break. You would say lot of matches going on, and next week also there is some interesting match. This week also, tomorrow also a really interesting match. So I think it's nice to have a 1 day break and to cope up with the all of the things. So I think it's great to feel that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Everybody, hi in the chat, from Amal to Igor, Akshay, Aryan, Solo Flame, Hiral, everyone, hi. I don't know how is this Tuesday going? No Indian football. I mean, no ISL at least. So, how's it going?
Well, I'm fine. I'm sorry, it's a little loud in the background where I am. I'm actually in a cafe, so it's a little loud over here. It's raining. It's 5 degrees. I'm drenched literally. So yeah, it's a typical week before Christmas, and sadly, in the past, without global warming, this would have been snow, and we would have been in the snow and would have been fun. But now it's 5 degrees plus, so we have to live with that weather.
Yep, yep. Guys, first, any particular updates, Hiren, that you want to share on Indian football that you've come across in the last 24 hours or so?
इंटरेस्टिंग तो मतलब फिर से जो मतलब क्या बोलते हैं कि सबसे पुराना टॉपिक पिछले 15-20 सालों का, वो मतलब फिर से रिसर्फेस हो रहा है एंड एएफएफ ने इस बार यहाँ पे ओसीआई पीआई के रिगार्डिंग यहाँ पे कल स्टेटमेंट आया है हमारे प्रेसिडेंट का, आज भी उन्होंने ट्वीट भी किया है। सो दैट इज़ द आई थिंक टॉक ऑफ द टाउन करंटली पीओआई ओसीआई प्लेयर एंड आई थिंक अगर ये रियलिटी बनता है देन डेफिनेटली इट्स अ ग्रेट यू कैन से कि फॉर द इंडियन नेशनल टीम I would say, but I think there are still lot of work to be done. So let's see. अभी तो जस्ट उन्होंने बात रखी है एंड इससे पहले भी ऐसा नहीं है कि इस तरह की लिस्ट आई नहीं है यहाँ पे। आई थिंक 2019 में भी सबमिट की गई थी प्लेयरों की लिस्ट स्पोर्ट मिनिस्ट्री को। आई थिंक ऑल डिपेंड ऑन द गवर्नमेंट कि उनका क्या स्टांस है। अगर उनकी ओर से ऐसा कोई स्टेटमेंट आता कि हाँ भाई हम उस डायरेक्शन में काम कर रहे हैं, देन आई थिंक ज्यादा होप बढ़ जाती। ये एफ की ओर से तो हमको पता है कि पिछले 15-20 सालों में कई बार ऐसा आया है कि भाई हम इंटरेस्टेड है, लेकिन द मेन डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर और डिसीजन मेकर इज द गवर्नमेंट। सो लेट्स सी। एंड आई थिंक गवर्नमेंट का जो अभी अभी मेरे को देख रहा हूँ कि दे आर मोर यू कैन से कि फोकस्ड ऑन द इलेक्शन। सो आई थिंक अरुणा सर विल हैव यू कैन से कि मोर डिटेल अबाउट इट, बट आई थिंक अगर होता है देन डेफिनेटली इट्स अ बिग बूस्ट।
Yeah, a couple of people asking about it. Solo Flame. Igor has also mentioned it. Aryan's asking, Anwar, do you live outside India? Anwar has lived in Germany, and that's why he mentioned this. No, Rama, any updates on this PIOOC? I think.
See, I mean, the topic has been discussed a lot over the last decades. I first raised the topic in 2001, and we're still discussing the topic. And at the moment, I think it's a very difficult one if the government doesn't show real interest. So the question is not on the AFF. The question is not if the AFF wants to. The AFF wants to do it. The national coaches, all of them, starting with Stephen in 2004, 2005 when he first tried it, till today. So we're nearly 20 years down the road. The coaches want it as well. So therefore, let's hope that the government changes, not changes, but maybe adjusts his legislation. And the point at the moment is, let's see, if those who are on the list, because there are certain players on the list who no longer are eligible for us because we've waited too long. Manpreet Sakaria was on the list, who plays at Sturm Graz in the Austrian Bundesliga. Manpreet, earlier this year, after a long time, did make his debut for Austria. So we've lost a lot of talent. Shan Hundal has given me an interview a while back. If you want to watch it, I did it a while back with him. Shan, striker, scoring in Canada, just got transferred from Vancouver to Vellore FC in the Canadian Premier League. He's interested to play for us. Again, we know that Jan Danda, Danny Bath has told me personally a number of times that he wants to play. Dylan Markandi is interested. So we have that. And I think we would increase our quality substantially if we can get them in. But again, the question is not about the players. The question is about the government, and if the government is going to change the things which are needed to allow PIOs to play for India.
Yeah. If is there a percentage that you guys can put on it, or is it looking very unlikely right now, or is there hope building for you guys?
आई थिंक ये जो अभी जो हुआ है, वो तो पहले भी हो चुका है। सो उसमें तो मतलब आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि होप बढ़ गई है। दिस इज़
Hmm.
ऑलरेडी हैपेंड इन द पास्ट आल्सो इन इस पास्ट में भी अगर आप देखें तो मतलब मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम यही होता है कि जो प्रेसिडेंट होता है, उसका गवर्नमेंट के साथ रिलेशन अच्छा ही होता है। ऐसा नहीं होता कि अदरवाइज़ जो उसका बनना भी मुश्किल होता है, हम सबको पता है। तो आई थिंक मैं इसीलिए मैंने बोला ना कि अगर गवर्नमेंट की ओर से कोई ऐसा स्टेटमेंट आया होता कि स्पोर्ट मिनिस्ट्री की ओर से या फिर स्पोर्ट मिनिस्टर की ओर से कि हाँ भाई हम इस बारे में सोच रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं, कुछ भी जस्ट अ स्टेटमेंट। तो आई थिंक ज़्यादा वो लगता है कि हाँ भाई एक एक स्टेप तो आगे बढ़े। अभी तो देखिए ये चीज़ तो पहले भी हो रखी है। अभी जो लिस्ट आएगी, वो भी पहले अनाउंसमेंट हो रखी है कि यहाँ पे इतने वैसे प्लेयर एलिजिबल है अभी करंटली। लेकिन जो आई थिंक हमारे क्या बोलते हैं कि सुस्मित भाई ने बोला कि डू द प्लेयर्स नो दैट देयर नेम्स हैज़ बीन सेंट। वन ऑफ देम ऑलरेडी प्लेड इन ऑस्ट्रिया ए लिया गया है। और उसके अलावा यहाँ पे एक एक जो हम भी अभी ग्रुप में डिस्कस कर रहे थे एंड आई थिंक अक्षता मेंशन अबाउट दिस कि भाई लिस्ट गवर्नमेंट के साथ कब शेयर की जाएगी, पीओआई से प्लेयर इनको क्या है यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी इन द लूप और उनको क्या पता है, क्या क्या सारी चीज़ें हैं। आई डोंट नो सर व्हाट इज़ द थिंग रिगार्डिंग दैट कि क्या प्लेयरों को इसके बारे में इन्फॉर्म किया गया है? उनके साथ बातचीत चालू हुई है कि नहीं हुई है?
See, the point is what is now happening, and we spoke about it yesterday, is that certain points are coming out from the EXCO meeting, which happened last month. It was one thing; it was regarding about PIOs, and again, it was also linked about certain things regarding the secretary, why the secretary general, why he was removed. So therefore, it is up to the government. Kalyan Chaube is close to the government, so therefore that will depend on that how will happen or not happen. So therefore, let's see what happens.
I think there are a
But
lot of
sir, नहीं, नहीं,
yeah.
yes, Rahul, I just want to add one thing that so many people are asking about the citizenship. I don't think so कि anyone are ready to give up their citizenship. I don't know, sir.
No, I
I
think
think the
the
solution
thing
has
is
to be different. I don't think
the,
anyone will be ready to give citizenship.
even
What's
if
your
even
take?
if you are ready to give up your citizenship, the problem is the naturalization process, right? I mean, even
Hmm.
if you give up your passport and you come to India, you still have that 5 year period where you have to naturalize, become an Indian citizen, then only play. So for a footballer's career, I think that 5 years is too much time to
Fine.
sort of let go of, right? Yeah, no, your thoughts on this? Even with single citizenship, do you think there's a way of working around
Single
it?
citizenship will not be the solution.
Yeah.
I don't think. Again, there have been examples. Izumi Arata is an example. Again, I did a podcast with him on the topic, and Izumi Arata clearly said at the time that he'd come to India. He played for East Bengal, then he played for Mahindra, then he played for Pune FC. He married an Indian woman, and still it took him 4 or 5 years. And some friends, as he said in my podcast, helped him. So the question is, can there be something outside of a framework of dual citizenship? I don't see India handing out dual citizenships because there's a lot of issue on that front as well. Because India, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. There are a lot of these issues which would then crop in. Who is an Indian, who's not an Indian, who's of Indian origin, who's not of Indian origin, because we've got a lot of people who left Indian shores before 1947. So we have second, third, fourth generation people in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Europe, who are they Indians? Then are they not Indians? There are people who have, let's say, Kashmiri roots or Punjabi roots on both sides, Bengali roots on both sides. What are you then classified as an Indian or not as an Indian? So there are a lot of these questions which crop up. There are certain players where it's very, very clear, very, very easy to say that that he is of Indian origin because his parents were born in India or his grandparents were born in India. So therefore, yeah, that's gone. And Gokul, to answer your question, Manpreet has played in the Euro qualifiers. He's played in official A international for Austria. So Sakaria no longer is eligible to play for India.
Yeah. And I think
What is
Sushmit,
the isolation period? If he never play India या फिर he can या फिर there is isolation period.
There's no isolation period. If you've once played an official match, an A international, you are no longer eligible to play for any other
Because
country.
in cricket there is an isolation period. That's why.
Forget cricket. Don't go into cricket. There are specific rules and FIFA rules on football because we've had these issues. For example, Lionel Messi has not only an Argentinian passport, a Spanish passport. So Lionel Messi could have decided to play for Spain, which that was the big decision, right? Before 2022, Lionel Messi was always told by his Spanish friends, and I think there was Xavi and Iniesta and all saying that, "Bhai, if you had taken up Spanish passport, you would have been world champions, you would have been European champions." So therefore, that's something which is very, very clear. So let's see what happens.
Hmm. Well, I think the solution is regarding the I think special you can say कि मतलब आपको क्या लग रहा है कि in the parliament or you can say कि from just government's notification also this can be happen.
It can
How
happen
do you
via
see the role?
government. I think there needs to be an acceptance by just needs to be an acceptance by the government. There needs to be no citizen change. If I accept that, for example, I have an OCI card, an overseas citizen of India card, I am a German citizen. If my OCI card is accepted and they say, "Oh, now you're eligible," you can do it with everybody else. Michael Chopra
But
did it
but
at the time. He got an PIO card at the time.
but
Actually, my PIO card in 2006 went to FIFA, and FIFA said, "Yeah, that's eligibility enough to prove that you're Indian."
बट ये काफ़ी सारे लोगों का सर ये क्वेश्चन होता है कि क्या अब फीफा ने सिर्फ पासपोर्ट बेस्ड सिस्टम कर दिया है कि आपको उस कंट्री का पासपोर्ट होना चाहिए। ऐसा है क्या? या फिर पीओआईओसी कार्ड पे भी
You
फीफा अलाउ
see,
करेगा?
that can all be worked out. If India wants a solution to the topic, they can find a solution. India needs to find a solution. India is not finding a solution at the moment to the topic.
हुँ,
If the government has to say we are interested, we would like to do something, only then that is the point about then only then all these conversations, follow-up conversations. Uh,
हुँ।
yeah.
Diego Costa represented Brazil in 2 matches but later played for Spain, so Manfred Zakaria is
Diego Costa never played an official FIFA match. He played
match.
friendlies for Brazil. So that is the thing. FIFA has special rules. Don't try to compare it to other sports. Don't try to compare it to other things. FIFA has special regulations on that, and therefore, if we want to accept it, we have to accept the rules and regulations of FIFA. We need to follow those. Only then we can be part of the system.
गवर्नमेंट नीड्स स्पेशल एक्सेप्टेंस टू स्पोर्ट पर्सन। हाँ, मतलब आई थिंक उस तरह का कुछ यहाँ पे वो कर सकते हैं।
That's a general conversation. I think the government needs to change things anyway, because if India is going to host the Olympics, that topic crops up. Because I go back to the Beijing Winter Olympics, where the so-called Chinese hockey team ice hockey team didn't even have, I think, one real Chinese. They were all Canadians, Americans, Russians who were playing for China. So therefore, in Olympics there are flexibilities. In football there are not that many. That's why FIFA legislations, regulations are tougher. So therefore, to me, very clear. Again, Diego Costa, different story. Then there are a lot of players who play one or two friendlies. So we also, for example, Harmeet Singh from Norway, in theory, is still eligible to play for us, despite he has played for Norway. He's only played friendlies for Norway. So playing friendly is fine. And that's very, very important that that if you've played an official match, which is a FIFA qualifier, a Euro qualifier in Europe, an AFC qualifier in Asia, or a CONCACAF match in North America, you no longer are eligible, but only at senior level. If you played even under 21s, under 23s, you see a lot of players switching under 21s, under 23s, or countries fighting over players. We have that in Germany, a lot of topics. And that's it. And again, fan pressure, nice thing, Dishu, saying fan pressure will change the government. No one is. We've talked about this now for over 2 decades. It's been a topic in the mainstream media multiple times over the years. The government has to show an interest. And the 24 players also being mentioned is just a list which has been put forward. None of the players, I know most of the players, none of them has been spoken about or spoken to.
But they are willing to play for the India if this happens.
It has to be in the right regulations. If you're asking them to take an Indian passport, none of the 24 players will most
No,
probably say
no, not Indian passport, but on the POI card.
if that happens, yes.
Yep. I mean, I know. I mean, still, it's still a long process, right? It's not like this is just
No, the
gonna
government
happen.
has to be flexible. You have to see that, for example, before the World Cup, Morocco got, I think, three players naturalized to play for Morocco in the World Cup, right?
So Pakistan
Um,
is working currently on four diaspora players. So they now have a 12.
Pakistan will down the road in the men's and the women's team will become diaspora teams because Pakistan doesn't have a proper league. Their football system doesn't exist. That's the
Exactly.
problem. And so therefore that you have to see where are the players playing, what is the level of player, could they fit. But again, the list is never ending. If you want to, you can, even in an Indian context, you can put a whole POI A team together in under 23s and under 20s and under 17s and under 16s 15s 19s. You can do all.
आई थिंक और सर आई थिंक ये चीज और भी बढ़ने वाली है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से अभी आप देखिए इंडिया से लोग बाहर जा रहे हैं, तो उसके जब क्या बोलते हैं आगे की जनरेशन आएगी, तो उसमें से कोई स्पोर्ट में होगा, तो ये और भी मतलब नंबर बढ़ने वाला है। ऐसा नहीं है कि नंबर ये कम होने वाला है। सो दैट्स द थिंग। एक एक चीज जो अभी राहुल ने पूछा कि ये लंबा टाइम लगेगा, अगर आपके हिसाब से सर गवर्नमेंट का इंटेंशन है और करना ही है, तो कितने टाइम में हो सकता है रियलिटी कि भाई उसी प्लेयर को हाँ भाई आप एलिजिबल और खेल सकते हैं? हाउ द टाइम पीरियड आप देख रहे हो कि भाई ये इतने
I
टाइम में
I
हो सकता है?
I can't judge the government of India. So you are asking me a
नहीं, नहीं,
question for
योर
which I
नहीं, नहीं, आपके हिसाब से सब कुछ अगर सही अगर वो करते हैं, देन 6
12
मंथ, 1
months,
ईयर?
12 months, 18 months, most probably. It has to be faster. The process needs to be a 3 to 6 month period. Simple. You do your homework. Um, you you can check all the data of the players. It's relatively easy. You can fast track that. Again, you just have to copy models which are especially there in North Africa. Morocco does it, Tunisia does it, Algeria does it. Relatively simple. Look at what Philippines has done. Look at even what Afghanistan has done. Look at
Done.
Malaysia is doing it. Indonesia is doing it. Vietnam is. Everyone's doing it. You know, everyone in the world is doing it. So we are just beating ourselves. We've got a diaspora to build on, and our diaspora players. Let's be honest about it. Their basics are better. If they've grown up in Europe or in North America, their football basics are better. Um, so yeah, that's the thing.
सुस्मित भाई,
Uh,
ये दिस नॉट ओनली द करंट गवर्नमेंट भाई, द प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट इज इट, इट डजंट मैटर इट्स अ कांग्रेस, बीजेपी और एनी गवर्नमेंट, दे डू, otherwise so this thing will be reality in
No, but
coming.
Shushmit has a point. Shushmit has a very valid point that I think OCIs or non-resident Indians will understand, because you have this tendency at the moment that a lot of non-resident Indians are switching passports to their respective countries or where they're staying in Europe or North America, and they're trying to curb facilities again. The non-resident community, sorry to say that, as being a non-resident, the Indian government, and it doesn't matter which government has been there, is always they want our money, but they don't want to offer us
हाँ
facilities.
वो हाँ एग्जैक्टली।
That's a real problem. So let's see.
I don't know
That's a
any top
problem.
players, PIO players playing in Germany that you can sort of. You know,
No, I don't have any top level players in Germany. So
okay, okay.
we don't have any. We've had some, but again, I always say that we have a top level coach, Robin Dutt, at the moment, who was in Austria. Before that, coach in the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen, Werder Bremen, Freiburg. So that's that. At the moment, we don't have a top level player.
Yeah, Parish was saying we're late with the inclusion of OCIs and PIOs. The thing is, we're not only late, but it's still we're not sure whether it'll happen or not, right? I mean, currently it still looks like we still have to play with the players that we have in India. Um, yeah, Hiren, hopeful about this, or what is how does it look for you?
देखिए, जब जब भी टॉपिक निकलता है तब वो एक होप तो आता है, लेकिन मतलब जिस तरह से चीजें चलती है, आई थिंक इट विल टेक सम टाइम। अगर होना है तो आई थिंक नियर फ्यूचर में तो मैं नहीं देख रहा हूँ। सुष्मित भाई बोल रहे कि इफ अलाउड अ लॉट ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन अमेरिकन प्लेयर्स माइट कम ह्यूज डायस्पोरा दैट प्लेयर्स सो करियर्स। बिल्कुल
Hmm.
बिल्कुल भाई, फिर ये एक फुटबॉल की बात नहीं, देयर आर अ कपल ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स की जिसमें मतलब ये सारी चीजें हो सकती है। एंड जैसे सर ने भी बोला कि अगर आप ओलंपिक और ऐसा कोई आप देख रहे हो, तो डेफिनिटली एक आपके लिए वो यहाँ पे रास्ता बन सकता है। बट करंटली तो देखो राहुल, मेरे को तो नहीं लगता कि नियर फ्यूचर, जैसे सर ने भी बोला कि अगर आप सब कुछ सही भी करते हो, फिर भी आपको मिनिमम 1 साल तो लगने वाला है। सो आई थिंक इन दैट सेंस द होप इज़ नॉट हाई।
Okay, okay. I don't know, again, just on the football, I know we've spoken about OCS and POS for a while now, but on the football, we've got some interesting football games tomorrow. I mean, we've got Mohun Bagan versus Mumbai City in Mumbai. Big game, top of the table clash. I don't know, what do you think about this game?
I'm looking forward to it, but I don't really know what to expect because it's not like the last game in Mumbai last year, last season, which I felt was most probably the best ever ISL game that has happened.
Okay.
And the point is that um, Mumbai has a new coach. They've been experimenting a little with their system. That's one thing. Mohun Bagan has a lot of injuries on the other side. Have gotten the results, but Mohun Bagan has sort of not really impressed me so far. But they've gotten the results, so that counts. Same thing applies to Mumbai City. So I don't know if both teams are really at the peak form to to show us what they showed us last season. That 2-2 really was really a roller coaster and a lovely game of football.
Yeah. Paresh was saying Mumbai win. Mumbai news system is not good. Sahal hasn't traveled, says Amal Shaji. Hiren, considering all this, what do you expect tomorrow?
Definitely, it will be a entertaining match. Obviously, both the teams are, matlab in terms of the player quality wise, both the teams have some interesting player, and I think Mohan Bagan recover with the, you can say ki, two their big frontline player Manveer and Petratos. I think that's a big boost for them, and I am seeing Mumbai City a little bit, you can say, with the new head coach. I think in the, मतलब पिछले आई थिंक थोड़ा-सा टाइम तो लगेगा सेटल डाउन होने में, एंड आई थिंक वो भी दिख रहा है। एंड थोड़ा-सा मैं क्या बोलते हैं कि वो भी इंटरेस्टिंग वो कि इस तरह की स्टार्टिंग 11 पीटर कट के यहाँ पे उतारते हैं। आई थिंक दोनों ही स्टार्टिंग 11 जो उन्होंने अभी तक खिलाई है उसमें कपल ऑफ चेंजेस उन्होंने किए हैं। सो एंटरटेनिंग मैच होगा, मुंबई में है। आई थिंक मज़ा आएगा, क्लोज एनकाउंटर, एंड बट आई वुड से आई एम स्लाइटली मोहन बगान की तरह, मतलब मैं उसको ज़्यादा फेवरेट देख रहा हूँ। आई थिंक
Interesting.
55-45।
Interesting. Paresh was saying Changte should start. Sushmit saying it's very important for Mohun Bagan to win because it'll give them some breathing space. They're, of course, 19 points right now. They win tomorrow, they go top of the table, 2 points clear of Goa, and they would have played the same number of games. Mumbai comfortably winning 2-0, says Igor Stimac. Mohun Bagan win for KL2. I don't know, who do you see winning this one? Because it's interesting. Lone Goat saying Mumbai.
See, if you ask me, I will always say that I would want Mumbai to win, right? So, and Mumbai is in a situation where I would say that they need the win. You know, um, they've had too many draws. The draw against East Bengal, for example, is one of those examples which was really unnecessary. You controlled the game, but you couldn't score. But I think this is one of those games where Mumbai really need to show their true colors and they need to win this because that then really opens up that race in the top five, and that's very very important amongst those guys. Which is happening at the top.
Yeah, Hybrid saying Mohun Bagan, Mumbai draw, and Vineet saying Mumbai edge Mohun Bagan. It's going to be very, very interesting. And two top teams. Hiren, have you been impressed with what Mohun Bagan has brought in the ISL so far? Although they have not sort of done well in cup competitions outside.
आई थिंक आईएसएल में उन्होंने उतना मतलब बुरा नहीं खेला है मेरे हिसाब से। आई थिंक आईएसएल में दे हैव बीन विद डिसेंट इनफ, बिकॉज़ इस स्क्वाड से देखिए एक्सपेक्टेशन तो आपकी मैक्सिमम ही रहती है, चाहे आईएसएल खेले, चाहे एएफसी कप खेले, कोई भी खेले। आपको जो एक्सपेक्टेशन है, वो हमेशा से वही रहेगी कि आपको हर मैच जीतना है। बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो कोई सी भी टीम हो, उसके साथ नहीं होता। एंड तो उस हिसाब से मेरे को लगता है कि आईएसएल में मतलब उन्होंने इतना कुछ बुरा किया नहीं है। एंड दे आर मतलब ये भी है उनके साथ कि भी कुछ यहाँ पे जो उनके फर्स्ट चॉइस प्लेयर थे वो इंजरी के साथ भी यहाँ पे पिछले कुछ मैचेस नहीं खेल पाए थे, तो वो भी अफ़ेक्ट हुआ है। ऐसा नहीं कि वो बिल्कुल अफ़ेक्ट नहीं हुआ, और ऐसा नहीं मैं बोलूँगा कि सिर्फ जॉन फेरांडो की टैक्टिक्स की वजह से उनका जो है वो डाउनफॉल हुआ है। देयर आर अ कपल ऑफ मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स जो उनको अफ़ेक्ट किए हैं। बट आई थिंक इन आईएसएल आई थिंक दे आर द स्टिल टीम टू बीट। मेरे को लगता है कि अगर उनके प्लेयर रिकवर कर जाते हैं, देन आई थिंक दे हैव अ वेरी स्ट्रांग टीम, एंड डेफिनिटली यहाँ पे बाकी टीमों के लिए दिक्कत बन सकती है।
Yeah. Ganesh is asking about today's I League game. So we'll just touch upon that. Gokulam beating Srinidhi 4-1 and sort of closing the gap to the top. They're now 3 points behind Srinidhi and 7 points off the top. I don't know, you see them coming back strong.
It was a surprising result because Gokulam has been sort of hot and cold this season, right? They've been had some good results at home, but again, for example, lost 0-3 to Real Kashmir away. We were talking the other day about it, about the cold weather. It's a challenging situation. I thought Trinity was more settled. They were doing well at home, but winning 4-1 at the Deccan Arena is certainly an impressive result.
And Lone Goat is saying that, of course, there's less than a month left now for the AFC Asian Cup. Quickly, let's discuss that as well. Hiren, excited for that, for the Asian Cup?
डेफिनेटली भाई फुल्ली एक्साइटेड, बट आई डोंट थिंक सो कि जो स्टेक होल्डर्स है वो उतना ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड है। हम तो है, लेकिन वो यहाँ पे उतना ज़्यादा दिख नहीं रहे हैं। कुछ स्टेटमेंट भी आ रहे हैं, देख रहा था मैं भी सोशल मीडिया पे। सो चलते हैं, देखते हैं कैसी परफॉर्मेंस आती है, लेकिन मज़ा आएगा। आई थिंक दिस दिस एएफसी एशियन कप विल बी more entertaining, more competitive and all of that thing. डेफिनिटली इंडिया तो ज़्यादा आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएगी, लेकिन आई थिंक ओवरऑल अगर आप कॉम्पिटिशन देखें तो मेरे हिसाब से काफ़ी बढ़िया कॉम्पिटिशन होने की पूरी उम्मीद है। एंड इंडिया की बात करें तो प्रिपरेशन में वो बोल रहे हैं भाई, डेफिनिटली अब जो है तो है भाई, अब क्या कर सकते हैं, अब जितना टाइम है उसमें जो प्रिपेयर करके जैसी परफॉर्मेंस देंगे। आई थिंक अगर 4 वीक भी होता तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि हम ये अभी बोल रहे होते कि भाई हम उज़्बेकिस्तान को हरा देंगे, हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हरा देंगे। फिर भी हम वही बात कर रहे होते कि यहाँ पे फिर अभी भी टफ है, चाहे 4 वीक हो जाए। लेकिन आई थिंक जो बस हमें दी गई है, जो फ़ोटो सोशल मीडिया पे आ रहा है, मैंने सुबह भी बोला था, उसकी ज़रूरत पड़ेगी हमें ऑस्ट्रेलिया, उज़्बेकिस्तान के सामने। वो बस एंड हमारे 4 डिफेंडर, ये सब लगेंगे स्टेडियम के अंदर, तब जाके ये कुछ हो पाएगा। तब जाके एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि स्कोर लाइन 2-0, 3-0 ऐसी होगी।
Yeah, yeah.
तो आई थिंक ठीक है, अब क्या करें, बट एक्साइटमेंट तो है, मतलब टूर्नामेंट के रिगार्डिंग एक्साइटमेंट है कि हाँ भाई, एक मज़ा आएगा।
Exactly, exactly. I remember today I was reading something. Uh, this player named Shinchi Chan who plays for Hong Kong, and he said, and his Hong Kong team is scheduled to play a friendly against Inter Miami, and he was asked whether he would leave the AFC Asian Cup to play a friendly against Lionel Messi, and he said absolutely not, because the AFC Asian Cup is like a World Cup to Hong Kong. Is it a similar feeling for Indians, because it is sort of the World Cup for us, right?
I agree. I mean, for the players, it is. I don't know if it's for our head coach because he has pushed his priority now to the World Cup qualifiers. For us, it is the World Cup. And again, we want to build on 2019, where we won in the most impressive fashion ever in an AFC Asian Cup by beating Thailand 4-1. We were really, really good against UAE, but then lost in the end. And again against Bahrain, we were just a little scared and had some injury issues, and then lost 0-1 and were out of the tournament. And we deserve to stay in the tournament, and that was the disappointment. This time around, it's a totally different scenario. We're playing against two of the best teams in Asia, with Australia and Uzbekistan. Syria is better than us as well, so therefore, again, as I said, I'll try and make my way to Doha and watch one or two, maybe all three matches. I'll try and keep my record. I think I and myself and Sunil and Gurpreet are the three people who've been there at every game that India's played in the last two Asian Cups. So I think I have a
Yes.
record to keep. And but again, I go in there and I just want to hear the Indian national anthem. I want India to play, but I know that we're playing a level which is way above us. So therefore, let's fight. We saw against Qatar at home where we stand. 3-0 is honestly a flattering result to us. So therefore, with the injuries, with the problems that we've had now in the last few weeks, I hope that all the players that are injured get fit again. I know that Anwar Ali is out, a big issue, and then the question is who are the others who might be not fit, and that's my big concern at the moment. Who's fit? But again, I know that whoever's going to be there, they'll give everything, and then let's see what happens.
Yeah. Shubham's asking, can you tell us some possible scenarios of India's qualification, keeping in mind the other pots?
See, India, I
Great.
think, needs to get at least one win. If India can get a win against Syria, 3 points, potentially it gets us through. 4 points would surely get us through as a third team in the rankings. But yeah, let's
लेकिन
wait
सर
and see
उस
how.
हिसाब से भी अगर आप नहीं, उस हिसाब से भी अगर आप दूसरे ग्रुप देखें ना, तो उसमें भी हमारा ही टफ लग रहा है कि हमारे लिए, मतलब अगर हम थर्ड पे भी फिनिश करेंगे 3 पॉइंट के साथ, फिर भी मेरे को लग रहा है कि जो बाकी जिस तरह की कंट्रीज के बीच में थर्ड प्लेस के लिए भी टक्कर है, उसमें शायद हम फिर भी मात खा जाएँगे, क्योंकि आई थिंक ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड उज़्बेकिस्तान के सामने अगर हमने जीडी हमारा कम नहीं हुआ, देन आई थिंक अगर हम 3 पॉइंट भी लेंगे, फिर भी इट विल बी नॉट इनफ।
Agree.
Yeah. We need to do
प्लस
well
1
in
तो
the
इगोर सेमिक से भाई 3 पॉइंट के साथ आएगा ही नहीं, प्लस 1 जीडी। क्योंकि आप अगले अगर पिछले 2 मैचेस आ रहे हो तो आपका माइनस में ही रहने वाला है जीडी, प्लस तो जाएगा ही नहीं। 3 पॉइंट यानी कि आपने क्या बोलते हैं कि अगर तीनों मैच ड्रॉ होते हैं देन इट कैन बी अ सिनेरियो, बट दैट विल बी यू कैन से वेरी वेरी अनलाइकली। सो चांस यही है कि सीरिया के सामने कप जीतो, एंड वो भी इतने बड़े मार्जिन से कि जीतो तो जीतेंगे तो नहीं कि भाई हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड उज्बेकिस्तान के सामने जो माइनस जीडी है उसको टर्न अराउंड करके पूरा प्लस में डाल दें। सो आई थिंक मुश्किल है हमारा प्लस में जीडी रहना। आई थिंक 0 -1 -2 जीडीबी हमारे लिए इनफ होगा, रादर देन जैसे कि -4 -5 टाइप। तो देखते हैं अब क्या होता है।
How do you guys want to see India line up sort of going into this Asian
उससे
Cup?
उससे
Do you
उस
want?
उस उससे पहले राहुल, मैं आप दोनों से
Yeah.
जानना चाहता हूँ रिगार्डिंग द सीरिया। मतलब सीरिया के सामने मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि नो डाउट इट विल बी अ टफ, बट सीरिया भी अभी न्यूज़ आ रही है कि 1-2 उनके भी ओसीआई, पीओआई जैसे प्लेयर को बुला रहे हैं। तो सर व्हाट्स योर एक्सपेक्टेशन अगेंस्ट सीरिया एटलीस्ट? उज़्बेकिस्तान, ऑस्ट्रेलिया साइड में रखते हैं।
I think I will go match by match. I think both India and Syria will have to go by match and see
नहीं,
what is the situation. Again, the reality most probably is that both teams will be 0 points and I don't know how many minus goals, and that's
Yeah.
that's the real challenge. Who is, and then you have to see, and how, again, um, that's it's difficult. I mean, again, that's why I rather go in with the low expectation into the whole thing. So therefore, let's wait and see what we can do. I'd rather go in with low expectations and be, overjoyed. It's like that Thailand game, that 4-1. Uh, so therefore, let's wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Rishikesh has a question for you, Anwar. Heard that in your own chance podcast, you said about OCI players and one player from Austria top division who's willing to play for India was in Manpreet.
Yeah, at the time it was Manpreet, yeah, which,
Yeah.
which is no longer the case.
Yeah. India needs to draw against Uzbekistan and beat Syria. You guys see a draw against Uzbekistan possible? No chance at all. I know I was absolutely saying no chance. Hiren,
If you if you
yeah,
if you
yeah,
see how our teams have played against the Uzbek sides in the last few years, ATK Mohun Bagan at the time against Nasaf and Mumbai City against Nafbahar. Not forgetting that, of course, these are club sides and they had good foreigners in it. Also, not forgetting that Uzbeks, the best players, play in Europe or play in the Russian league. Um, it's a very tough ask. It's a very big question. I don't see that
yeah.
happening.
Okay. All three losses. Mindset predicts Uzbekistan's main players are injured, is what Ganesh is saying. India losing players. I mean, of course, will not have certain players as well. Anwar Ali is a big miss. I know we've spoken about him a few times. But Hiren, is he the biggest miss for you going into this tournament?
विथआउट अ डाउट आई थिंक बिकॉज़ यहाँ पे जो ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है स्ट्रॉन्गर, आप आपको अगर मिडफील्ड, अटैक एंड डिफेंस वाइज़ देखेंगे, तो योर डिफेंस हैज़ टू बी टॉप नॉच, बिल्कुल सॉलिड होना चाहिए था। एंड अनवर अली के बिना वो कितना ज़्यादा, मतलब हम सबको पता है कि अफ़ेक्ट होता है। उससे आप देखिए संदेश जिंगान की परफॉर्मेंस भी अफ़ेक्ट होती है, सारी चीज़ें। तो आई थिंक एवरीथिंग हैज़ फॉल अपार्ट। तो आई थिंक उस हिसाब से अगर आप देखें तो डेफिनिटली ही इज़ अ बिग, बिग मिस, एंड जिसका आपके पास एज़ सच कोई अभी रिप्लेसमेंट भी नहीं है।
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know, of course, there are a couple more injury concerns. Of course, Jackson, and then you might have these guys back. Sahal, of course. Would you put these players ahead of Anwar's injury in terms of importance for the Indian national team?
No, I wouldn't say that, because I think in midfield we have options because of Suresh and Apuya, the way those two played in the recent qualifiers. On the other side, I would say that Rahul Baker has played very well in the last few weeks at Mumbai City and for the national team. So maybe we have an option, but again, he's not a natural centre back. And the question is also is how are we going to stand it? And therefore, yeah, missing Anwar is a huge loss for us, because he added a lot of stability, and not only stability, he was also a good attacking options for your corners, right? So yeah, that's the challenge, I guess.
Yeah. Predictions for tomorrow's game, Hiren? Could you just give us a little prediction?
Prediction, I think it will be I think a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
Last year's match, I think last year we have witnessed some very very, you can say, good quality game. So I think this year also I'm expecting the same with the 2-2 draw.
Arava?
I would go in for a 2-1 win for Mumbai City.
Okay. 2-1 win to Mumbai City and a 2-all draw. Interesting predictions. Yeah, Anwar and Apuya are best in our team right now, says Lone Goat. Fair enough. Completely agree. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And the AFC Asian Cup is coming close. Guys, anything else that you want to discuss? I
Other
think
than that, I think I think एक जो topic है regarding under 17 youth league age fraud, that is the topic going around, and जो कि भी काफी लंबे टाइम से है, एंड उसमें आई थिंक ये मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया सर कि इन लोगों ने ये अंडर 13-15 के लिए TW3 मेंस क्या बोलते हैं कि वो किया मैंडेटरी, अंडर 17 के लिए क्यों नहीं किया?
It doesn't work for older players because you have the transition from boys to men.
Man.
So therefore, in that transitional
तो
period, it's
उसमें
very very
उसमें कोई
difficult
अभी
to
नहीं
adjust.
नहीं अभी अभी कोई बोल रहा था कि अभी जो डेवलप वो कंट्रीज है वहां पे इससे भी एक बढ़िया मतलब क्या बोलते हैं कि वो टेस्ट आ चुका है, तो
See, the
TW
testing anyway is not accurate. Again, the problem with these testings is also, again, in my time in Ronglas, we had this thing we did a round of testing, and some of them were in inconclusive. And then one boy, I remember, his age was 14 years and I think 7 months, if I'm right. The first test came at 16 years, 6 months. Dr. Vesapes did the test. Another one did a test, suddenly comes up and says he's 14.3. The third one says the boy is 15.3. So what do you do?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially with the northeastern boys, you don't know how
Really.
you can check the age. That's a point. That's a difficulty, and therefore and we have age fraud in a way in India, which is not even a joke. It's not that you're like 2 months older, 1 year older. Some of the players are 4 5 years older.
Years
You know
old.
that there are men playing boys competitions, and it harms us. It harms nobody else, and that's the
ये
that's
अभी
the
सर
real problem.
अभी जो मैं स्टीव से बात कर रहा था, तो उन्होंने भी वही मेंशन किया कि जो हमारी अंडर 17 की एशियन कप वाली जो टीम थी, जो कि पहले एटलेटिको मैड्रिड एंड रियल मैड्रिड खेलने को गई थी। उन्होंने भी वही बोला कि मैंने जब एटलेटिको मैड्रिड के कोचेस के साथ बात की कि भाई आपने अगर ये प्लेयर ने आपकी टीमों के सामने, आपकी एकेडमी की क्लब के सामने 3-3 से ड्रॉ किया है और आपके सामने जीते हैं, तो फिर आपने क्यों इनमें से कोई प्लेयर को यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि साइन नहीं किया? तो उन्होंने बोला कि दीस आर नॉट द 17 ईयर प्लेयर्स, दीस आर द वे मोर देन दैट 19-20 ईयर प्लेयर्स एंड अब इसका डेवलपमेंट हम नहीं कर सकते, वो बोल रहे हैं कि हम ऐसे प्लेयर को लाते हैं कि जो एटलीस्ट अगर हम 2-3 साल में डेवलप करके भी उस लायक हम फर्स्ट टीम टैग बना पाएँ। सो आई थिंक डेफिनिटली ये एक सबसे बड़ा इश्यू रहा है। ये सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि ईस्ट बंगाल के मोहन बगान ने कंप्लेंट की है इसलिए। आई थिंक मोहन बगान के प्लेयरों की भी टेस्टिंग की जाएगी तो उसमें से भी कुछ निकलेंगे। अगर आपकी सीनियर टीम के प्लेयरों की रियल एज पता नहीं है, देन व्हाट डू यू एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम द यू कैन से कि लोअर लेवल? सो I think this is the root cause problem, and AFF need to find a more solution. No doubt they are working things like this TW3 test, but I don't think so कि वो उससे भी और ज़्यादा वो मतलब क्या बोलते हैं कि ज़रूर कुछ कम हो पाएगा, लेकिन ऐसा भी नहीं है कि पूरा मतलब वो मिट जाएगा।
Yeah, again, just want to quickly share something like a personal experience. Of course, my brother is playing in a youth league. Again, bone test not accurate. There was a 1 year plus difference from his actual age to the bone test age. It showed greater age. So I think these things are there, and yeah. Arnava, is there any other way to sort of check age? Better mechanisms?
See, there are these kind of tests as TW3. There are other tests where you try to ascertain the age of the bone of a human being. I remember that there was this test done on, when was this, last year or the year before, on Cristiano Ronaldo, and they said, listen, this guy has the body of a 25-year-old. And the same would happen most probably if Sunil Chetri was tested. So the question here is how does this work? How does this setup work in a way that that you're able to ascertain? And it's only possible if across India the systems are implemented that directly at birth
Implement.
everyone gets a document, be Aadhaar card or whatever it is, so that you can prove later on. Listen, this kid was born on this day, and that's the only way
Yeah.
it can go forward. It's a
I
problem.
I
Not
I
it's
think
an
I
Indian
think
problem. It's a
हाँ,
problem in large parts of the world, right? It's a large parts of the world where you don't know. Again, the real Ronaldo doesn't know how old he is? Does a Ronaldinho know how old he is? Most probably they don't. Most probably they also
don't.
cheated, right? So,
Hmm.
okay. But again, for us, it's a drawback because at the end of the day, if you have players, and again, Steve is right to say that. Why do the Europeans not take potentially look at Indian youths? Because they'll say, listen, they're not the right age, they're overage anyway. I can't develop that player anymore. That's the problem. People want to win at under 13, under 15, under 17, under 18 level, rather than working at that level to say, listen, I'm trying to develop players. So it won't work.
Yeah.
एंड आई थिंक जो क्या बोलते हैं कि काफी कम उम्र से अगर उनका ट्रैकिंग होगा, जिससे सर ने बोला कि कुछ ऐसी सिस्टम लाई जाए, तभी जाके वो पॉसिबल है कि इसको आप नैरो डाउन कर पाओ। अदरवाइज तो ये मुश्किल ही है कि आप अगर 15 साल और 17 साल या फिर 13 साल में अगर वो करते हो, तो फिर काफी ज्यादा मुश्किल है कि आप उसको कम कर पाओगे। आई थिंक
Mhm.
उससे भी पहले अगर एएफएफ के पास कुछ ऐसा वो सिस्टम मैकेनिज्म बनाए ऑल ओवर द इंडिया की, प्लेयर का डेटा उनके पास हो जब से वो यहाँ पे फुटबॉल खेलना स्टार्ट करे, तो आई थिंक इसको कम किया जा सकता है।
Yeah, yeah. Vineet saying dental tests. Again, I have no idea about the science, so not going to say anything. We don't know. We're not. Unfortunately, we're not biologists.
We're not doctors, so
Yeah,
therefore it's and again it's a question of what is possible, what is also realistically can be put as a cost, because these TW3 tests are costly, um, and this is very very difficult. And again, I think at some stage also you need to have sort of photo identification systems in the back end of the CRS system, where you're able to track kids, and if something looks fishy, maybe you can check. So therefore, yeah. So let's see what
अरहम
happens.
अरहम नसीम भाई, हमने रेफरिंग के बारे में भाई काफी बार बात भी कर चुकी है। एंड उसका तो भाई हमने कल भी बात की थी। कल हमने जब पोस्ट मैच भी किया था, तो उसमें भी हमने बात रखी थी कि क्या हम उसके बारे में देखते हैं एंड क्या क्या चेंज होने चाहिए।
yeah.
बर्थ डेट रजिस्ट्रेशन, भाई बर्थ डेट रजिस्ट्रेशन ही काफी सारे लोग फेक बना के देते हैं। वो भी इजी है इंडिया में। आपको दूसरा अभी चाहिए, वो बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाता है।
I think, like Arnav mentioned, I think probably the best way to go around this is to track from the earliest stage possible some sort of universal document. I mean, again, just suggestions, I guess. Nothing concrete yet. But yeah, again, ISL game tomorrow, guys. Catch Mumbai versus Mohun Bagan, and we'll be back to discuss that tomorrow. And thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Arnav. Thanks, Hiren. And yeah, like and share these videos. Subscribe to the channels. Sports Kabri, Arun Foot, and Curious Harry. We'll be back, guys. Good night.
गुड नाइट गाइस।